first of all, to say that 40-year-olds shouldn't be playing soccer. I'm glad that Randy mentioned I am a lifelong resident of Arizona. I'm a lifelong Republican. I also, like Russell Pierce, I'm a member of the LDS Church. And I'm here to say mainly that Russell Pierce doesn't represent the values of any of those groups. He doesn't represent the values of the majority of Arizonans, the majority of Republicans, or members of the LDS Church. I want to go through just a little bit of background that some of you may be familiar with and some of you might not about Mr. Pierce. Back in 2006, he forwarded an email from a neo-Nazi group to several hundred of his supporters. He later, when it was pointed out that it came from a neo-Nazi group, he apologized for sending it out, and he said he only did so because he agreed with the content. Well, I think that speaks volumes about Russell Pierce. In 2007, he endorsed J.T. Reddy, who by that point was a known neo-Nazi, endorsed Russell Pierce, called him a patriot, and endorsed him for the Mesa City Council. That same year, he sponsored the employer sanctions law, a law that has cost Arizona over $10 million to defend in court and to implement, and has resulted in the closing of a Subway sandwich shop for 2 days. That's it. In 2008, Russell Pierce sponsored Senate Bill 1108, prohibiting Arizona University students from forming groups based on minority interests. We've talked about Senate Bill 1070. A lot of people don't realize that Russell Pierce invited Chris Kobach, who is an attorney for a group called FAIR, to help him write that legislation. What a lot of people don't know about FAIR is that they have been called a white supremacist, racist hate organization by the Southern Poverty Law Center. So Russell Pierce is inviting members of white supremacist groups in to author our legislation. His next attack is going to be on the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Now, I talk about these things, again, not necessarily as a personal attack on Mr. Pierce, but when Randy Paras quoted the sheriff down in Pima County as saying that Arizona has become a mecca for prejudice and intolerance, you can't help but wonder why when you see our Senate president have this kind of background. Putting all those things aside, I took a look this morning at Russell Pierce's own website, a website where he touts the legislation that he has pursued over the last several years, and I encourage all of you to do so. If you take a close look at it, the vast majority of the laws that Russell Pierce has tried to pass in Arizona over the last few years have to do with two things: immigration and deregulating gun control. And there's not one bill that I could see in there about education, about health care, about improving our economy, about creating jobs, any of those things. So I encourage you to look at his website, see the laws that Russell Pierce is encouraging, and ask yourself, do these reflect my greatest concerns here in the state of Arizona? And I think you'll come to the same conclusion that I did and that all of these people behind me have, that they do not. Thank you.